the king never expected that the greatsword he had struggled so hard to master could be swung one-handed by the man before him. This left everyone present utterly stunned. It must be understood, this greatsword is incredibly sturdy. For most people, even lifting it is difficult, let alone swinging it freely. Yet Jack had no idea it was a divine artifact. Amusingly, he noticed the blade was about as wide as the drain gutter at his grandmother's house, so he considered using it to clear out clogged ditches. If the king ever found out, he would be filled with regret. Ever since Jack used a parry skill to defeat the Minotaur, the princess had been searching for him everywhere. Finally, using long-range detection skills, she located him. Since the Adventurers Guild was crowded, the princess suggested they talk outside. She used shading and concealment skills to prevent their conversation from being overheard. Jack thought it might be something serious, but in fact, she had come to thank him for saving her life, because Jack's actions not only rescued her, but also saved countless citizens' precious lives. Jack felt she was exaggerating. He believed he had only slain a single bull. What Jack didn't know was, that bull was a monster from the deepest layer of the labyrinth, a threat-level special A creature, so the princess insisted on giving him a reward, even if it cost her family's wealth. She wanted to prepare the most sincere gift for Jack, but to Jack, her verbal thanks were already enough. However, the princess was someone who always repaid kindness. Moreover, her father also wished to meet Jack. Unable to decline her persistence, Jack finally agreed to meet her father. What Jack didn't know was, her father was the king. He also didn't know she was the princess. He only assumed her family was wealthy. On the way, they met Night Eneth. She was the princess's personal guard, but Jack mistakenly thought she was a maid. On their way to see the king, they also encountered Gilbert. Although Jack was the princess's savior, he hadn't yet earned everyone's trust. For safety reasons, Gilbert joined them to meet the king. Meanwhile, the king was discussing with his son, Crown Prince Ryan, the impending war with the neighboring kingdom. The Minotaur had been summoned by that kingdom. Their goal was this nation's labyrinth resources, the relics of the labyrinth of no return. Just then, Jack and the others arrived at the hall. Fortunately, the king cared little for formalities. Jack, not being from a noble house, knew nothing about court etiquette, but to the king, that made conversation easier. To thank Jack for saving his daughter, the king asked what wish he desired. Unexpectedly, Jack asked for nothing. No money, no land, not even treasures from the labyrinth. But the king couldn't let Jack leave empty-handed. After some thought, the king decided to give Jack the greatsword he once used. This was a divine artifact. Ryan felt it was too much to give away, but to the king, now that he had long retired, the greatsword was merely a decoration. Better to let it be used than gather dust. Hearing this, Jack reluctantly accepted. He was surprised by the sword's weight. Then the king asked Jack to try swinging it. The king never imagined Jack could wield it one-handed. That sword was supposed to be immensely heavy. The king had one more request for Jack, regarding the princess. The king wanted Jack to train her a little. After all, times were growing unstable. In other words, he hoped Jack would protect her. But Jack, considering himself weak, politely declined. Just then, Eneth approached Jack. First, she thanked him for saving the princess. Then she introduced herself. In her youth, she earned the title Divine Shield. As the princess's shield, she served by her side. In principle, the princess was someone she was sworn to protect even at the cost of her life. Since you saved her life, you also saved mine. Therefore, from now on, I will do everything in my power to assist you. Everyone in this household really overreacts, Jack thought, somewhat exasperated. Just as he bid farewell to Eneth, Gilbert also approached. Truly, one matter resolved, another arises.
俺はギルバートだ。ちょっと付き合ってくれ。その実力を見せてほしいと思ってね。帰れない。